puts us at 82, 49, and 8 on the season, hitting at a 62.5% clip.
Back-to-back golden boots. That's 3 in a row for me. 3 too, man. Like, not a dime. That's called being for the people.
It's over! The Columbus Crew, 2023 MLS Cup champions!
All right, are you ready to rock and roll? Happy to be back. Welcome into Sports Prophet TV. This is the MLS Live podcast, Leagues Cup edition. We're talking, I guess, match week 2 is what we'd call this.
Round 2, yeah. Match week 2, round 2.
Round 2, yeah. Still group play. Takeaways from the first round. 2 wins, 2 pushes, 2 losses. So we lost a little bit of juice on the first slate, on our first official card that we put out. Look, I mean, rotation got us on a couple of spots. Even still, we had some kind of silly results. But if you got the prices in early, closing line value, it doesn't win bets, but it definitely saved you a big chunk of money if you got those prices in early, right? Otherwise, some of those spots weren't even playable. But we're back, ready to go. We were just talking. We're monitoring some of the futures that we put out. Garrett, those are looking pretty good.
Yeah,
or
groups
off to
ain't
a
too
decent
bad.
start, I should say.
No, yeah, groups aren't too bad. You get stuff like Miami getting a full blown win. DC has control of their group right now with 2 points. And so if they handle business against Santos, that's theirs. I'm trying to think of who else at the top of my head right now, but and then some other teams haven't played yet, right? They still got 2 games to go, so that group can still happen with whatever. Yeah. So I mean, I'm not displeased by any means after just the first round.
Yeah, not displeased. Not with all the rotation, with some of the shenanigans. It was definitely a little different. Not the most aesthetically pleasing, soccer in every single game, but we expect that to get better. I personally think this sets up for a very nice round 2. There's no more, short trip where, the Mexican teams show up and it's a quick turnaround. All that stuff is kind of out the window. They've been here for a week. Some teams have played. There's not really any surprises. So I think this sets up for a good week for really just good games in general. And we're going to see some of the stronger Mexican clubs kick off starting tomorrow. So, but yeah, we'll get into it. We got 5 official plays for you guys today, including a 2 unit, which I'm excited to share with everybody. And I'll start us off. All right, first game on the docket, FC Dallas hosting FC Juárez. I'm going to eat a little bit of juice here because I think we get an open game. I think both teams find the back of the net. So I'm just going to go with both teams to score here. We've talked about it before. Since Nico Estevez left FC Dallas, they've looked like a completely different team, not just results-wise, but just stylistically. Their games have been wide open. It's been night and day from when he was there into basically almost a little bit before he left. They started kind of opening it up a bit. But, man, these guys are playing some high-flying soccer at this point. Juárez comes to town. Obviously kind of a newer MX team, so they don't have a huge fan base, but it is Texas. FC, Juárez is on the border of Texas, so there could be some fans show up. I'm not expecting anything like the big clubs would bring if the game was in Dallas, but there could be a few fans there. That's not really something I took into consideration here as far as a yes or no on this bet. But so here's my analysis of Juárez. Obviously, at best, this is probably like a middle of the pack type team in MX. This is not a team that's bad like they have been in years past. I think that they have finally kind of put together a decent, lowish end to middle of the pack MX team here. They brought in a coach from the Brazilian league. He formerly head coach at Flamengo, Red Bull, and Vasco. So a very experienced coach. They got players like kind of some journeymen that are solid players. They don't have any superstars on their team, but they just have solid players. They got Salvador, former Chivas, San Luis, Monterrey guy. They've got guys like Aitor Garcia, who is a career Spain 2 type player from Sporting Gijón and Cadiz. He's kind of like their hold-up guy. He plays some of the 10. He sometimes plays out on the wing. He creates a lot. They got another guy, Villalpando, I think is how you pronounce it, former Chivas Academy guy, and he was San Luis's best player a season and a half ago. They've got him. So they have a solid team, and they are good enough to find the back of the net here against FC Dallas. And they do play attacking football. So it's not like they're going to sit back on their heels here. And I think FC Dallas, the way they've been playing lately, we're going to get an open game. I think Juárez is good enough to find the back of the net. We saw them find the back of the net last season against LAFC, a game that we were on and that we covered in last year's Leagues Cup. Their attack is probably better than it was last year during this time. So, yeah, I think, again, this is a simple one. I think it's open play, and I think Juárez is good enough to find some holes in that leaky Dallas defense.
Yeah, I mean, if you like Juárez, then I'm down with it, because from the Dallas perspective, this game could open up quick. If Juárez gets the first goal, we're definitely off to the races here with Dallas, and pretty much in a must-win situation, right, to try to advance. Juárez doesn't have to win per se. They can, if they can win, take it to a draw, get a point, and then even if they lose the penalty kick out and a penalty shootout and only get 1 point instead of the 2, they still have a chance against St. Louis, right? This is FC Dallas's second and last game. So if they want points here, they've got to go all out. I like how you're approaching with the both teams to score. I like that as well. I think you could also sit and wait and play it live shortly into the first half and get maybe a better number. And I would jump on an over in some way if Juárez scores first. Like whenever that happens, whatever the over is where I'm probably going to hop on live, because again, that's when Dallas is really going to have to open it up. So I don't hate. I know we had a comment about both teams to score plus over 2.5 with how you described Juárez. I don't hate that. It's just more scenario based for me, where I think this game is just real ripe for some live looks based on how it plays out in the first 10 or 15 minutes.
Yeah, and I'm cool with that. I think this game is ripe for a potential live overlook, because of, like you said, situationally, Dallas has got to get they got to win here. So they're going to be potentially chasing the game, especially if Juárez scores first. And Juárez is going to play like they have. This is a Juárez team that they have scored in every competitive game so far this season. For the first 4 games of the MX Apertura season, they've scored, including against teams like Pumas, Club America, Toluca, and Atlas. So there's some big teams in that company, and then they also had a friendly game. Take it for what you will, but they did find the back of the net against Bundesliga side Frankfurt. They've scored in 14 of their last 15 competitive matches, and they can make it happen. I mean, these guys can pull some strings. They play attacking soccer. I'm expecting more of the same here, and I have no issue if anybody wants to wait for a better price. No problem with that at all. Kirk already jumping in saying we got 140 at Caesars. Even better, 140 is typically where I draw the line.
Shop around, and if you can't get it live, I still have no problem playing both teams to score at this juice. Dallas is one of the best both teams to score teams in the league for MLS play, hitting at 72% on the season, and it sounds like Juárez has plenty in attack to give them a run for their money. So both teams to score is an excellent look here, in my opinion.
Yeah. Lorena Martinez in the chat. I just kind of want to touch on this real quick. I wasn't expecting Austin to win with a red card. That was crazy. I'm right there with you. And I was saying the same thing and maybe a couple other things in my living room during that game that I won't repeat on here. But I'm going to talk more about that as we go because I have a play involving Austin later in the show. So yeah, I'll get to that later. But on to the next one. We got Minnesota hosting Club Necaxa, who, real quick before you get going, I think Ryan Reynolds and what's his name just bought this team. The same owners from Wrexham.
I think they bought a piece of it. They're not the
Okay.
primary owners.
Gotcha.
But yeah, I think they used some of that tequila money and bought a
Right.
piece of it. So here I do like. We had a couple of duds, in round one, right? As far as just totals and games, in general. So I do like a total here. I'm going to go with the over 3 with Minnesota in a pretty much must-win scenario. Versus Necaxa. You can speak more to what Necaxa offers. I think this Minnesota team can absolutely be scored on, but I think they can score as well. And I think you're seeing, similar to MLS now, I think you're seeing a gap that's widening in Liga MX between your very best clubs and the richest clubs and the clubs that don't have the same resources. We saw a lot of those, I guess I would call it lower tier clubs play in round one, and MLS embarrassed them. What is it, like 7 out of the 8 games MLS won were involving MLS and Liga MX teams?
7-1.
So yeah, it just not Liga MX did not bring it in round one. I expect a little better. Necaxa, maybe they score, but there's, like I said, there's a scenario here where Minnesota just blows the doors off too if they get in a good vein. And so I think there's goals in these rounds going forward. Now that it's opened up a little bit, people know where they sit on the table. And so the first over I'm going to attack is right here. Lodge should be back for Minnesota. Fun fact, they did just sign Yeboah to a DP deal from Genoa, but he won't be here, of course. That visa's got to take time to process. But good news for Minnesota and attack going forward.
Yeah, we never know how long the visa stuff takes, right? But Necaxa. So this club, they've somewhat routinely been more of like a lower end, not quite a cellar dweller. Some years, definitely on the lower end of the league. They're a newer club, but they made the playoffs last year and they played well. They played as a team. They definitely took pride. They got some big skins during the year, took down some big teams, made the playoffs, and made it to the second round and lost to Pachuca, who I think won the whole thing. Let me see. Sorry. Yeah, so hold on, I'm not pulling it up. Anyways, back to Necaxa. I think they can score here. I mean, I get the over 3. That way, if you do get a 3-0 with the way the MLS team has been playing, especially at home in this tournament, towards not the huge teams, we're talking middle of the table or lower end MX teams. MLS just destroyed, right? So I think over 3 is the way to go as opposed to both teams are scoring over 2.5. But if I was going to put money on it, I would say Necaxa can find the back of the net here. They've got Diber Cambindo, the Colombian striker, who was at Cruz Azul, and basically, let me see. I think he was given away for maybe on a free or a loan. Oh, he was loaned, right? So he's loaned, and Cambindo has scored like in every other game, and he's got like braces and a hat trick, and like he's just been going ham with Necaxa. They've got some good young wingers, and they got a good 10 and a decent midfield. So this is a team, I would put up there, similar type ballpark with the Juárez attack, maybe a little more pop, a little more explosiveness. I definitely think that they can find the back of the net here and contribute to this over. All righty. Keep it moving. HU in the building. Good to see you, buddy. Talking about Yeboah there. Minnesota desperately need a midfielder and defenders, in my opinion. What do you think about that, Garrett?
I think you can't have a DP on the bench, and that's all Pookie is. So you had to fix that ASAP.
Yeah, I'm with that. I get that, and I do agree that they could use some defense.
I think they could. I don't think it matters this season, right? Like you're bringing in guys that's for the summer going forward because, I mean, you look at who Miami has, who the Crew have, who LAFC just brought in, who the Galaxy are trying to bring in. This is pretty much like a 4-horse race now in the league. So everyone else is just trying to assemble some parts, right? Like build for the future, and getting Yeboah at, I think he's 24. Like that's just, and he's been pro for a minute. Like, so that was good business.
Absolutely. And we're seeing more 24, 25, 26-year-old guys that are good European players coming over here now because of the money. So it's good to see. It's good for the league. I'm right there with you. I think that was a good signing. All right, on to our next one here. Toluca playing Chicago. This is going to be at SeatGeek Stadium, which is their soccer-specific only venue in Illinois. Not going to be at Soldier Field, which, if anything, like, Toluca's going to have fans in Chicago. So, like, I don't know if this is really playing at a smaller venue, if that really is better for either side. Toluca's going to have fans there regardless. They're going to find their way to this game. And I'll be honest, kind of baffled by the odds in this game. So right now, Toluca is like an even money favorite against Chicago on the money line. Total is like a 2.75. I don't know. I really don't get it. I think Toluca is a very, very strong side. This is a team that led MX in goals last season. They had 38 goals, which was 7 more goals than anybody else in Liga MX last season. And they pretty much retained. They retained their top 5 goal contributors, and then they went to Portugal and got Paulinho from Sporting Lisbon, and he has slotted in up top and is Paulinho. I mean, he is an upgrade. And then they've got everybody else that they've got. They're getting Maximiliano Araujo back from Copa America duty from Uruguay, who is maybe their most dynamic winger. This attack is fierce. This attack is the real deal. If this team, again, this is going to be a 1-unit play for me now on the Toluca team total over 1.5. I'm willing to, go ahead and lock that in at the price because I think the price is stupid. I really don't get it. If this price is anywhere under the -140, -145 range, when lineups post for this game, and if they go strong, which I don't know why you wouldn't at this point, I'd probably be adding another unit and making this another multi-unit play personally. And I had to double check because I remember these guys just kicking ass last League's Cup. So I had to go back and double check, was there an anomaly? Did they get lucky? Did they have, no, these guys beat Nashville 4-3. They put up 3.66 XG. They beat Colorado 4-1. And what was a weather game, put up 2.15 XG. They beat KC 4-1, put up 2.81 XG. Then they got knocked out in a 2-2 game on penalties to Minnesota in a game that they put up 3.46 XG. And this attack is what it was, maybe better than it was last year with the addition of Paulinho. So this team total at 1.5 being playable in a place that they're going to have fans, I just don't get it. And look, I know that's what we said last week about a couple of lines, and then the MX teams came out and rotated. But the MX teams have been here for a full week now. There's no quick turnaround. They've been practicing here in the States. There should be no reason. There's extended rest now for a team like Toluca. Should be no reason to rotate. If they go strong here, this is an upgraded to a multi-unit play for me. At least 2 units if they go strong, but for now, 1 unit.
No, yeah, Toluca showed out last tournament. They were a lot of fun to watch. So when this line first popped up, goals immediately popped into my head. Where it's a similar scenario, right? That we just talked about 2 plays ago, where especially if Toluca score first, like we're off to the races here because Chicago's going to have to push the pace and try to win this one. So yeah, I like it here. I mean, it's really hard to knock that team total. No matter how you slice it, it's a good attack. So yeah, I'm cool with the team total. I'm cool with goals here. Like this is probably one of my favorite goal spots of the round.
And it's not like Chicago's been good defensively. They're bottom 10 XG. So I mean, I don't know. I mean, is there something we're missing here? I mean, are we expecting, because in Toluca's deep, it's like there would have to be really significant rotation, like almost running out the kids here for this line to make any sense to me, being around even money on the money line, and then this team total being playable.
I mean, we've seen massive movement on the MX lines, like regardless, right? Like, so it's honestly hard to say for me why this line is set at where it is currently, because I do like it.
All right, let me answer this real quick from Matt. What would you play the Toluca team total up to if you get a unit in now? Is what I'm doing. Wait for lineups. If they're strong, I would probably play this up to -150 and still feel that there's value there. If they post a normal 11, that's what I would probably play it up to. So, but I'm getting a unit in now. Alrighty, moving right along. All right, we got a combo play, and this one's yours.
Yeah, and I'm not trying to get cute with it. I'm just parlaying 2 totals that we love in these matchups, which is the over 2.5. So you got Portland hosting Colorado Rapids, taking the over 2.5 there, with the Quakes hosting the LA Galaxy, taking the over 2.5 there. For the Quakes Galaxy game, it's real simple. I mean, we were on goals a few weeks ago when these teams faced off in the same area. So I'm just firing back here again. I've got some of the best over teams in the league, right? Like Portland, over 2.5 is hitting at like 92%, right? We know Rapids can score. We know that attack. They haven't even missed Mihailovic that much while he's off at the Olympics. Bassett's slotted into the 10 just fine, isn't contributing. Portland, we saw it. They'll get it done, even if it's 2 set piece goals, the brace from the center back, whatever it takes. Portland's just going to score. Like, they just keep outperforming that variance nonstop, but that attack is also talented, right? We've seen what that attack can do week in and week out. Galaxy, we know who they are. We know what that attack is like. I actually really like where this one's sitting now as far as from a scenario standpoint. Where the Galaxy hadn't played yet, they could see how it shook out. Now they know they probably need to beat San Jose. I think San Jose was fortunate to squeak out there with 2 points against Chivas. And I think Galaxy knows they probably have a much better chance of beating the Quakes than Chivas. And so I expect them to come out here. And the Quakes, they can answer at home. Like, this could be 3-0 Galaxy, but the Quakes could answer too, right? Like, that the Quakes are underperforming in attack. It's pretty wild how bad this team has been analytically. But like, they just haven't. Eventually those goals have to start coming. So I'm just playing the flat over 2.5 here because of all the different scenarios I can see this shaking out in San Jose. And then, yeah, the Portland over 2.5 is that's just easy. It's an easy pick for me. So like I said, not getting cute, nothing special for either one of these matchups. Just a simple over 2.5 for both sides for almost even money.
Yep, I like it. I thought the Quakes attack has looked okay at times this year. 1-1 result last week obviously could build a little confidence for him, but we know we're going to get open play with Galaxy and everybody healthy there. Like you said, Portland not a ton to really add. I'm right there with you. All righty.
It is funny though, because we talk about Portland, both teams to score, at home just being like an autoplay.
Yeah.
I saw Jason's comment about first half both teams to score. It's only hit in 4 games for the for the Timbers this season so far. Like it's the second half of these Timber games that just take off. So just an interesting note of like I think like your eyeballs say it looks good, and then it just for whatever reason it's always the second half when that game opens up.
MLS After Dark, and man, it happens. All right, on to our last one here. This is going to be my 2 unit. I got a lot of shit last week for some reason. I still don't really know why. People are bugging me about fading Austin. They're really bad, and I'm going to fade bad teams and wait for, negative regression. It's what I do in almost every sport that I handicap. And, unless something's, there's an obvious outliner or the eye test says otherwise, but the eye test does not say otherwise with this Austin team. What's bad is bad. They are bad. And additionally, Bukhari, who is he's their designated player they just got from Red Star Belgrade in Serbia, Ghanaian winger, easily the best athlete on their team now, or at least the fastest player on their team. They need him. He got a red card, so he's out for this one against one of the best teams in Mexico, Monterrey, coming to town. And look, Monterrey has been here for they haven't played in 10 days, so they've been here for a week. I can see no reason for any more silly rotation. I think I read a quote from the Pumas coach that it was the quick turnaround, that they had just got here, on travel, and that they didn't want to overdo it or whatever, and obviously that kind of bit them in the rear. But I'm taking Monterrey here to win. This is minus 115, minus 120 now. This was even money yesterday when I originally locked this in. And again, this is not complicated for me. Have a very hard time seeing Austin really threaten Monterrey. Monterrey is really good defensively. And I just think they're better at pretty much every level. Monterrey is going to have a massive fan base at Q2 Stadium. They're technically the home game, the home side for this one. This is their home, part of their home hub privileges is Q2 Stadium for this one. And then their next one is going to be, I think their next one's going to be at NRG against Pumas, or maybe somewhere south, either Houston or
No, it's at Q2 as well.
Okay, so so this is their hub then. This is their home hub. They get home hub privileges. This is going to be 75-80% Monterrey fans. There are tons and tons of Monterrey fans in the Central and South Texas area. I mean, even up in any big city, really, there's going to be plenty. And Monterrey's got a massive fan base in Texas, so it will feel like a home game for Monterrey. And there's not a ton to say. Look, this Austin team has been horrible. Analytically, they've been one of the most fortunate sides in recent MLS history. The fact that they're not almost bottom of the table is a miracle. So yeah, I'm going to fade them again. I really don't care. I think any playable line for Monterrey is a steal, and it's a multi-unit play. If this is another one, I'm starting at 2 units without knowing the lineup because I feel that good about it. And fluky stuff happens. It's whatever. It's that you can only control so much. And if they post a strong lineup, I'm probably adding a 3rd unit to this one if it's still playable. But I don't think it will be playable. As we get into tomorrow. This game is tomorrow, by the way. So go ahead and lock it in.
Yeah, that's a good point. That these matchups are for tomorrow through Thursday. So fully covering round 2 with all of our favorite looks here. Friday will be an off day for the tournament. We'll have another show, and that'll cover the weekend. Regarding this game, I mean, that if if I had to pick an MX side that I liked, it would be Monterrey, right? Like that roster is just loaded. However, you also know I think they are, in my ignorant history of Liga MX, the Arsenal of Mexico, in the sense where real talented roster don't actually ever win anything. And I'm also going to, so I want to preface all that. Like, I like Monterrey. I think this price is silly. Everything being equal, yes, this is a huge play. Like, this is a play that you can really build a bankroll off of. However, Austin's beat me, man. I'm tapped out. I cannot. I just won't play Austin games anymore, right? Because this team is abysmal, and yet they just get results, and it is frustrating. And so, yeah, I'm officially done. Austin has beaten me into submission. I'm done playing their games.
Yeah, they don't even necessarily get results. They just mess up whatever we're betting on if they're involved in the game. If you bet against them, they get a result. If you bet an under, they score an own goal on themselves and score a banger that a player will never score again for the rest of his career. It's just like they really just have been that team so far this year. And I look, I don't care. I mean, I know what this team is. All I see is just a better price. Arsenal in Mexico is a funny result, but you know who Arsenal doesn't have any issue beating? The bad teams. And that's what this is. Arsenal chokes, Monterrey chokes in the biggest games against the best teams. They don't choke against Austin. So feel good about this one. I've already got.
I love the price. Austin's beat me, man. I'm waving the white flag.
Yeah. Well, I ain't doing it. We're locking in, baby. Let's go. But again, yeah, I mean, monitor lineups. If you want to be a little more conservative, and if anybody thinks, has reason to believe that Monterrey is going to follow suit with some of the other MX sides and rotate this first game, feel free to just get a unit down. But I don't see why they would. They haven't played in 10 days. They've been here for a week. The price is fantastic. This was even money yesterday. I got 2 full units down, 400 to win 400 yesterday on the line. And it feels similar to the Toluca game. It's like, what's going on with these lines? I felt the same way about a couple of games last week. So,
well, and we felt similar for the tournament last year, right? Like, you just get some favorable lines the first time these Mexican sides play.
Right.
Now, after this, like, if Monterrey comes out and smashes Austin, they're not going to be very playable next game. Like the books adjust quickly. But yeah, we got favorable lines last tournament. We thought we had some favorable lines coming into this tournament. It's a really good price. There's no way to argue that.
Right on. Cool. Well, guys, please like and subscribe to the video. I always forget to mention that at the beginning. Subscribe to the channel so you don't miss anything. Follow us on Twitter at MLSLIVE Podcast. Next show is going to be Friday because we've got Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday games. We just covered those for you. We gave you 5 plays for this week's games. No games on Friday. We're going to be doing another Leagues Cup. That'll be episode 3 for our Leagues Cup edition shows. And that will be for the weekend's games. And we'll just keep it going from then. After that, we'll be onto the knockout round. And so we will update y'all on what we're going to do from there. But yeah, it's been good. Let's and then I'm working on getting another guest on for Friday to talk some updated transfer rumors and transfer deals that are already done deals. We're just going to have a segment on the Friday show for transfer discussion. We haven't done transfer discussion in a little while, so we're gonna kind of chit chat about that. And while I'm on here, I want to look and see update on some of our early updates on the futures that we put out. Let's see. I know you talked about a few at the beginning. All right, so starting with yours, Miami to win the group. Off to a good start. Got a win against Puebla. Cruz
That's
Azul.
sitting at like minus 350 right now.
Okay, so that's good. Cruz Azul to win the group at plus 160. They haven't played yet.
However, that one is probably that one's much better now with the Philadelphia getting a win.
Yes,
So at plus 330, man, I still am interested.
no doubt.
I think you could have GG be a dark horse for Golden Boot.
Okay. Red Bulls to win the group plus 105.
Man, they dropped the ball. They're still in it. It's not dead because it went to a penalty kick shootout, but not winning that penalty kick definitely put them behind the 8 ball. So we'll have to see how the rest of that one shakes out.
DC United to win the group. Did they win that penalty shootout or did Atlanta?
They did, yeah. So they're in control. They're leading the group with 2 points. Atlanta has 1. Santos is awful. All you need is DC to handle business, and they can't really slack with only having 2 points. Like, it's not like you've already won the group or you're already automatically through yet mathematically. So yeah, I'm a big fan of that one.
Cool. Okay, and then Chivas to win the group. Let's just never talk about Chivas again on this channel. For all I care.
Dead.
All right, and then
it's not dead. They got 1 point. They took it to PKs. They'll need to beat Galaxy though.
All right, Cincy to win the group. They haven't played yet, and NYC and Querétaro drew, and NYC won the shootout.
Yes.
Okay, so that's looking all right. If they get an outright win against Querétaro, that puts them in a good spot. Toluca to win the group, minus 110. They haven't played yet either. Obviously, Chicago lost to Kansas City, so they'll need a win at Chicago. Atletico San Luis to win the group. They haven't played yet, but I think that's the Montreal-Orlando group. It is. Orlando won 4-1. So
going away, man. They smoked Montreal.
They look good. That's another one that I wasn't able to post on the show last week because we recorded Wednesday. I sent out Orlando minus 118 Sunday, and that closed at like minus 250.
It got steamed.
Yeah. Then we got Portland Timbers to win the group at plus 190.
It's looking beautiful.
That's off to a lovely start. Houston stinks. Let's see.
Houston does stink.
Yeah, Houston stinks. And that's it. So off to a decent start.
Nothing real has moved in the terms of like the tournament winner. Like that, those are all going to pretty much hang out where they are until we get knockout matchups, and then I think you'll see some shifting.
Yeah, and I think last year we added a couple once the bracket was set. I mean, the picture gets a little clearer, and there could still be some value. So, all righty, folks. Well, thanks for tuning in to our second special edition Leagues Cup. This is for round 2 group play. Again, we're going to be back Friday for round 3 of group play to preview those. And that's all I got. Anything?
No, I'm sure once we see lineups, we'll probably have a few more plays to drop. So make sure you're following the handles there on the screen. Also, make sure you're following the show, of course. And then, we're starting to get to that point where there's going to be some potentially really good live looks based on must-win scenarios and how those games play out. So I'm looking forward to round 2, definitely.
Absolutely. All right, folks, we'll see you Friday, and let's cash some tickets.